Good afternoon, well, not afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hajim Zero here, back with another quick movie review. This one is one of my favorites, just shot up there. Again, after the review of Into the Dragon, of course, this one was coming next, and a more other, you know, whole line of kung fu movies that I'm going to be, reviewing. Wow, can't believe it did that. But this is Ip Man, starring Donnie Yen. And forgive me for not knowing the other actors because the rest of the actors and actresses did a very good job in this movie. From the actress that played his wife to the Japanese general, and the other allies that were surrounding, Ip Man in this movie, and as well as the guy that portrayed Jin, the Northern Shaolin Fist character. But this is pretty much like the first set of origin, you could say, story of, Ip Man, which is Bruce Lee's master. Um, Bruce Lee doesn't, of course, it doesn't appear in this. The movie actually ends with Ip Man's family finally going to Hong Kong after, Japan and World War II had invaded, China, and really had them living in the slums in the dirt poor, area. And pretty much the whole historical, context was, them fighting off, the Japanese. And I can't really remember the province that they live in, what became of it, if it was under Japanese rule or what. But what are some other facts? I know I had some more in my head. I always draw a blank, sit there, think about maybe I should write a script for these shits. But continuing on, the cool thing about the fighting style that Ip Man knows, Wing Chun, was actually developed by a woman. Um, and the funny thing, when it gets to Ip Man 3, you see how one of the characters was trying to get more of an aggressive route versus Ip Man's, try to start a schooling on that versus Ip Man, who is more traditional. You can tell, the nice fluidity of a female movement, in his strikes and all that. And it was more effective, especially, in my favorite scene where he beats up all 10 of those karate guys, the black belts. And of course, like with Bruce Lee and with the third film, with the cha-cha dance, it goes hand in hand a little bit with your movements. That was pretty much the dope thing when I saw some of the features for the third one and looking at this. But there are nice, good other forms of martial arts in this. I think Hungar makes an appearance with one of the students, of course. Northern Shaolin Fist, Wing Chun, Karate, and I know there's another, like, two more styles, but um off the top of my head, I really don't know what they are. I want to say Crane, but that could be for the second film. And of course, Muay Thai, which is in a third one, and of course, Western boxing. But uh, this film, it's kind of funny because there's another version or a multitude of versions of Ip Man. It's just that Donnie Yen's is the most famous because it was him. But they give out, different information, and of course, with one, two, and three, I know one of the versions jams all of that into one film. It shows. I think it showed more historical stuff or things that actually happened to Ip Man. Like, apparently I had looked it up, and he actually went to work as a guard or something for the Japanese. That's what really happened. They didn't show that in this movie, I guess, because of the politics between Japan and China. But you can take whatever that is, each own interpretation. I'm definitely gonna come back on that when we get to Ip Man 4 because of what I saw, what people were saying online, and of course, with Fearless, it had its different controversies, which is kind of funny. But you know, this film had came out like in 2008, like right, and I think that's when Donnie Yen had really started to get more international, appeal. Well, I think Hero was first, and then this one really put him on the map because it was a feature film, starring him. It wasn't Jet Li in this, who already had his mantle. And everyone got on the whole Donnie Yen craze. A few of my friends at the time when this came out, they did. I still remember from being in high school, and I was like, bruh, I've been a Donnie Yen fan. I saw his good potential in the Iron Monkey when he portrayed Wan Fei Hong's, father. And even that character, both of their characters in their own right are legends. And um, he got more notoriety when he portrayed Shin Chin in the character Jet Li had portrayed in Fist of Legend, as well as Bruce Lee in Fist of Fury. So it was kind of funny. And also right after that, I saw him in Blade 2, and then of course Hero, and then the rest is just history. And it was kind of funny because I don't like to ride on people. Like I stated before, and I'll state it again, I'm a real fan of the underdog, the one that's not really appreciated. The good thing is that when I was growing up, Jet Li and Jackie Chan were a craze, but I think Jackie Chan was more of a craze because I think he was doing, he was doing films. He did films, a few films first, before, like I think he beat Jet to it, or they could have just distributed his films to America, a lot sooner than Jet, because Jet's notoriety had really increased when he did Lethal Weapon 4, even though he was already known for some of the films he already did. And I'm gonna talk about that later when we get to his whole string of films that I'm gonna watch and review. But yeah, this movie was the good thing besides it being, um an action film, it is technically a biography, and it just blows though because I can see, you know, a teacher playing this in class if they're talking about World War II on a Pacific side of it, and most likely from the point of view of the Chinese because they were our allies at the time. It was them and the French and I believe England. Most of those areas were already conquered by Germany. You know, and of course I'm not too sure about England. I think they were going to invade eventually Paris. I mean, France, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not a huge historian. But besides that, the two fights, like I mentioned, which were I really loved in this movie, was the karate, the 10 black karate black belts, and then the final one where he faces off the general. And it's kind of funny with this whole history of Japan versus China. And like I said, the kung fu films I'm gonna review is gonna come up like a lot more. I know this one is Fearless and Fist of Legend. Um and I'm probably missing one, out of my library right now, but it is what it is. No, I don't think I am. Nope. I'm looking at them right now. But that's all I have for this review. Again, the comment boxes are always open. We can have a nice, discussion about it, and I will talk to you guys later. Sayonara.